The human zygote is a phenomenon, and every phenomenon is cyclical and bipolar. The phenomenon is not created, it emerges in the continuum. As a consequence of the phenomenon emerging at the convergence of resonant waves, the phenomenon acquires some properties. Its quantum weight is altered, and in the geometry of flows that results from the angular convergence of waves from an infinity of directions and wavelengths, a different momentum and a consequent orbital spin are attributed to it. Such properties initially modulate the phenomenon, with movements in microspirals, modeling the vortex of expansion. The phenomenon emanates from its dynamic non-center and propagates in waves of expansion that modulate layers in the form of orbital flows. Every phenomenon is multi-layered. The layers extend and orbit from its non-center of emanation. Each layer is constituted by a spectral band, which delimits it in relation to the others. In the same way as any and every phenomenon, the Zygote-phenomenon emerges in the continuum already having the attribution of potentials for evolution. Being a multi-layered system, the phenomenon perpetually exchanges energies by resonance with the other layers, by means of micro-transitions. This occurs whenever the energies are vibrating in affinitive frequencies. The energies transit between layers when the vibrational walls become temporarily permeable to resonant frequencies. The vibrational affinity is the cause of the micro-transition. All energy is light information. The systems of energies at all levels are informational systems.
But this phenomenon does not exist in isolation. Let us explore how it connects to the cosmos through fractal nesting and vibrational hierarchies. The energies propagate in waves of light information. The waves are constituted of fractal particles that carry configured the entire informational structure of the phenomenon of their origin. While the waves propagate from the zygote phenomenon, which is an impermanent in relation to the continuum, an infinity of waves from an infinity of distinct phenomena converge from all angles to modulate a new emergence in the continuum. A different non-center is consequently modulated for the phenomenon. This convergence of affinities occurs by vibrational resonance. There is no randomness. The entanglement at the quantum level structurally is governed by a fractal nesting, which is obtained when the layers of the multi-layered phenomena interpenetrate through their vibrational affinities. The nesting structures the phenomena as non-physical hierarchies in the form of vibrational hierarchies. The higher the vibration, the higher in the hierarchy. The contrary, the lower the vibration, the closer to a state of density matter. Let's consider a base structure. The universe contains galaxies that contain planets that contain beings, and in the specific case, human beings. Any and every phenomenon in this hierarchy emerges in the continuum with the potentials of this structure. It is the geometry of fractal nesting that, through vibrational resonance, connects by non-locality all the phenomena contained in this hierarchy of flows that constitutes itself, in our example, the universe. It is in the entanglement of the infinity of so many distinct fractal phenomena, with a fractal of the zygote phenomenon, that a new zygote phenomenon emerges, now more evolved or involved, depending on the acquisitions of resonant energies that altered its quantum weight. Beings, human or non-human, contain and are contained, by means of their layers of vibrational constitution, in a hierarchy of informational systems of light information. The force of communication that integrates all phenomena into a quantum unity is the law, resonance.
Now we must look at the engine of this system. We will examine the mechanics of the pulsar and how complexity emerges from resonance. One of the fractals of the zygote phenomenon is the expression of an ever more complex hierarchy. And by being a nested expression of a holosystem of increased complexification, it already shares layers with potentials for resonance at all levels of the hierarchy. The key to opening the doors of communication is vibrational resonance. From one non-center to another non-center, a flow of light information is modulated in the continuum, tracing tracks of light information. The information travels by resonance, switching the quanta of information on and off. The phenomenon is the quanta of information. Whenever the phenomenon emanates at a high frequency, through the process of the multi-layered pulsar, the phenomenon transfers and receives information from all the phenomena that entangle it, forming a quantum phenomenon of higher complexification. This complexity of structural flows can also be a human holosystem. Evolution is the expansion of a field that acquires systemic complexity. The inverse is involution. The wave propagates, consisting of an infinity of fractals of the phenomenon. Each fractal propagates in successive omnidirectional waves seeking affinitive vibrations, resonance. The non-locality of the phenomenon, by means of its impermanent non-center, gives the phenomenon the mobility to be everywhere and nowhere. Such mechanics is one of the properties of the continuum, so as not to generate points of accumulation that could deform the continuum.
Finally, we arrive at the creation of matter itself. Let us understand the physics of shear, folding, and the unified circuit of ascending and descending flows. The phenomenon, as a direct result of its quantum weight and by its angular convergence of waves, acquires a momentum of potentials, which confers it a limit of impulsion, a time vibration of expansion in which the wave encounters a vibrational wall. That moment in which the propagating wave, with its inertial movement, meets the energies in tension against a vibrational wall, is the wave seeking to return. And in this counterflow, a moment of tension is established, in which the inertial energies are transformed into potential energies. At this point, the process of shearing occurs, which is the cause of a torsion of flows, modulating the vortical movement that generates the vortex of contraction. This is the movement of involution, in which the dense energies turn back in flows of nutrition for the phenomenon, altering its quantum weight again. With each alteration of the quantum weight, a new cycle begins. The process is repetitive, but the cycle is always a consequence of the alteration of the quantum weight of the phenomenon. The denser vibrational layers of the multi-layered phenomenon, in those outermost vibrational walls, in that moment of folding, constitute the momentum-dense matter for the world of the beings that vibrate in that system of universes. Matter is the moment of the beginning of the contraction of the pulsar field constituted of the multi-layers. All energy is light information. All matter is coagulated light. However, it remains light information. All matter is energy in low vibration and long orbital periods. A counterflow is the light information traveling between layers to return to the zygote source. The human phenomenon is a holosystem of high structural complexity. The double vortex configures a structure of light information flows that make the human more or less conscious. The human already formed in a body is fully constituted of ascending and descending flows. The ascending flows are flows that modulate consciousness. The descending ones configure matter. There is no disconnection. The energy in the form of light information constitutes matter, and the return of the wave by the breath of the phenomenal field reintegrates the light information to the flow further above that increases the resolution of consciousness. The human holosystem is this system of informational flows of light information, which, as an oscillating, pulsating system, exchanges energies with all phenomena by quantum entanglement.